What's up, guys? Welcome back to Browns Talk. Got the Week 15 review video here for the Browns-Giants Sunday night game. Browns won this one 20-6. We did win by 2 scores, so I was right there, but I was really hoping we would put up more points in this. It was a really weird, slow game. The overall consensus is that it was pretty boring to watch, and especially I think the reason a lot of people think that is I watched the film right before doing this again, and the fourth quarter was just nothing happening. It was really just us trying to run the clock out, and their rushing defense was good enough that we could only get a first down here and there. I was kind of weirded out that they didn't try to throw a couple more play actions in there. Weird coaching there, but I mean, you're up 2 scores while they were up really 3 scores for a lot of that. So, I mean, run the clock out, whatever, that's fine. It's just, like I said, it did get a little tedious to watch there, but it's a win, so it's a good day in Browns history when we're bored of a game and it's because we're winning it and just running the clock out. That's not what we used to do. So, offense first, as usual. Baker played really well. He had 5 incompletions, 27 out of 32. And really only 2 of those were bad balls. Every other one was good defense. So, really, really on the money with the throws tonight. Tucked the ball and ran for a really clutch first down at one point to get us out from being backed up. He just continues to play super duper well. And it's getting real hard to continue the inconsistency argument at this point when he really hasn't had a bad game since the Bengals game. The last time we beat the Bengals, he's pretty much played good since then. So that's really encouraging to see him continue to improve and play clean. He has 10 touchdowns and 1 interception since week 8, I believe, which would be the week after the Bengals game, and he had 5 touchdowns and 1 interception in that game, so really more than that. But he's just playing really well. The run game did not do super duper good, but the Giants have a really good run defense, so I kind of figured that we would be throwing the ball quite a bit. Nick Chubb did get a touchdown, and he got robbed of a touchdown, and then just still found his way in a couple plays later. So that's why you like to have Nick Chubb. He's just not going to be denied, and he's going to get in there. The receivers played well. They continue to play well. I hate not having Odell. I say this every week. I don't buy into the Odell was a bad thing argument. I don't think that there's really a case to be made for that. I think it has a lot more to do with the fact that Baker is just playing a lot better as the season goes on because he gets more used to this system. Don't forget the offseason was really weird this year, and they didn't have a normal chance to get used to a system in the offseason, so it kind of makes sense. We struggled more early on, and Baker got better as time went on, and we installed more plays, so we have more options. And he's more used to the options he has and gets more comfortable. So receivers did really well, though. They did a lot of weird stuff. Jarvis was all over the place in the backfield. A lot of misdirection going on. I'm assuming that's to try and distract them and open things up a little bit because their interior pressure is really good. So I'm assuming they were trying to just do a lot of misdirection to kind of throw off some of those interior rushes, and it worked. Baker only took 1 sack, and it was to Nick Harris, gave up the sack, and that's his first time playing an NFL game as a guard like that. He wasn't ready for that, you know what I mean? So to play as well as he did, stepping in there as a rookie with no experience at that position in a game, he did super well, which is encouraging. It sucks that Hubbard's out. He's going to be out for a little while now. I think he has to have surgery on his knee. Wyatt Teller still not coming back, it looks like. So Nick's going to have to play again against the Jets. I I hope he'll do fine there like he did tonight. I don't think the Jets have the rush that the Giants do, so we should be fine on that front. Defense, Denzel had a pretty good game. He did have a couple balls thrown against him that he didn't get on, and that's a little unusual for him, especially since he wasn't really going up against any like super great receivers or anything. I'm sure he's just a little rusty there. He also single-handedly prevented 2 touchdowns and multiple other throws too. So, and he made some stops in the run game. Came off the edge really well, like I kind of said he would. That helps having him because he makes tackles really well. So having him on one side of the field to kind of shut down the outside run game a little bit better helped a lot. I think he'll be playing really well next week against the Jets, so I'm sure he'll just get better as he gets a couple more games back in from being hurt. Either way, it wasn't a bad game for him, though, so it's encouraging to have him come back from being hurt and still, like I said, just absolutely demolish those 2 touchdowns. They were right on the money, and he just made it, just made a perfect defensive play. It was really awesome. Miles completely looks winded and stuff. He was talking on Twitter and in his post game about how he feels super winded all the time. You can just see it. Even in the post game, he sounded like it. So, not encouraging there. But he still did get home, got a half a sack with Larry, and he made some stops in the run game. He's still taking attention, so he's still a force on the field for sure, but it sucks to not see him be able to be out there as many snaps, it feels like, and then on top of that, just, not have the push he usually does. So hopefully he gets better as he gets further down the road from when he was sick. We'll see what happens there. No matter what, he's going to be good, but it would really, really suck if he has, permanent damage like a lot of these cases do have, permanent lung damage and things like that. I hope that's not the case. For him mostly, but it's going to suck for the Browns too, obviously. So I really like Miles. He's probably my favorite player. If everybody doesn't know that, I wear my Miles jersey all the time to the point where I'm like wearing it out. I wear it so much. So I really hope he gets better as he gets away from it and he starts feeling better, because I know he wants to be at the top of the sack board. I know he wants to do really great, so I hope he gets a chance to do that. Linebackers played really good for the most part. Some really good coverage stops by them. Malcolm Smith had a weird penalty he shouldn't have got. It was dumb. You just shouldn't have done that. Speaking of dumb penalties, Jarvis getting that taunting penalty is ridiculous. The refs did every game. It's so annoying. That Jarvis taunting penalty was stupid. They're talking to each other, and the dude gets in Jarvis's face, and Jarvis gets a taunting. When are you not allowed to talk shit? You're allowed to talk shit in a football game. It's not like he spiked the ball on somebody or some shit. It's just stupid. I've seen people do way worse things to other players after they score a touchdown than talk to them. And they just have a hard on for us. It's really annoying. Anyway, back to, linebackers really good in coverage for the most part. BJ Goodson's holding tackles really well this week and stuff. Everybody on the team tackled really well, which was a huge benefit. So you like to see that. The rest of the line did pretty good. OV was in there doing things. He had some good stops. Wish we would have got more sacks. I really don't understand why we didn't have more sacks. They were getting the ball out pretty quick when they were throwing it, but still really should have more sacks against that line. So I guess it's a down game maybe. I'm sure they'll do all right next week against the Jets. But I was expecting a lot from the line and a lot of sacks this week. So there's just kind of a down point there. But they did enough to win the game and, not let them convert third downs, convert fourth downs, the huge fourth down stops there early on. So you can't complain too much just because the stats don't look great. I guess they did the job that they needed to do. No touchdowns scored against them. So Rest of the secondary besides Denzel was pretty good. There was a couple of errors. Sheldrick missed a coverage on one play. You can see Kevin Johnson. I watched it from multiple angles, watching the coach's film, and you can see Kevin Johnson uh, throw his hands up like he's expecting Sheldrick to be back there behind him. So just a miss zone there. Little things like that. I mean, Sheldrick's not supposed to be in there. So stuff like that's going to happen. Sandejo might be back soon. I don't know. Carl Joseph killed it. Another great game. Him and Denzel both were just lights out the whole game. Carl Joseph was all over the field making key plays, and that's really good to see. He had a touchdown breakup on a pass. Like, when he's doing good things in pass coverage, making crazy amounts of tackles, doing all the things he was doing, it was really good game for him. So that's awesome for Carl. I would like to see Carl Joseph stay around, and I know that once we have Ronnie Harrison back and Grant Delpit back, we'll see a lot less of Carl Joseph and Sandejo, but Joseph at least has the upside of being able to come down into the box, do more of the real strong safety linebacker kind of role really well. So having him for certain downs instead of Ronnie Harrison out there or on top of it is useful, especially when our linebackers are hit and miss sometimes. They're getting better as the year goes on for sure, but they're not the most consistent ever. So I think Carl Joseph has a good role carved out there where he could stay around for a while, and I would like to see that. It's insanely late. Before I watched this film back over and did this, I got home, a little bit later from work and then had some other stuff to do. And then I watched the Steelers-Bengals game, which I didn't know when I sat down I was going to end up watching the entire Steelers-Bengals game, but I did because the Bengals won. And the Steelers looked horrible. There was nothing the Steelers did today that was impressive other than their defensive line did Steelers defensive line things sometimes, but not all the time. I mean, they let fucking Ryan Finley get outside on a misdirection play and run a long touchdown on him. It was nuts. I mean, the Steelers just did not look like the Steelers from earlier in the year tonight. But shout out to the Bengals doing us a favor there. We're one game behind Pittsburgh now. We got the Jets next week. Hopefully we can pick that up. They got the Colts, so they definitely have the harder matchup of the two, but, could have just been a little 3-game slump here, and they look great next week. Who knows? They didn't drop a lot of balls and stuff today. It was really Ben was not playing well at all. I mean, he had every right to have thrown 5 interceptions during that game, but 2 of them just didn't happen, and is fumbling the ball and it gets recovered and stuff. There was every possibility that Ben had 6 turnovers today if they just went a little bit differently. I mean, William Jackson dropped a wide open pass right to him, so I wouldn't imagine that's going to happen next week again. I wouldn't think Ben's going to play that poorly twice in a row, but the receivers really weren't playing too terrible other than Juju, who fumbled and then dropped a pass later and just continues to not look like the Juju when AB was there at all. And all the off the field shit is so annoying to me. I really can't stand that kind of stuff. And then the Bengals were coming for him today, you could tell. But yeah, the door's open there for us. We might be able to make a sneaky little comeback on the Steelers here if they can lose next week, and then we can beat them. So we'll see what happens there. Either way, it's a good day when you get to see the Steelers lose. Thanks, Bengals. Shout out. Appreciate you guys. Ohio homies. We'll have to be watching what happens with the Colts on Sunday. There's a lot of teams that, have some bearing on what we're doing here, so we'll have to keep an eye on some different games, but Browns game 1 o'clock on Sunday in New York again against the Jets. I'll have a preview video up for that later in the week. And then I am going to start working on a highlights video tomorrow if I have a little bit of free time. Like I said earlier in my last video, I got some really important family stuff going on tomorrow. So I'll be busy most of the day, but I'll try and sneak in some time to start working on those and getting those going because I want to get 2 done. Yeah, preview video for the Jets game Friday, Saturday, sometime around then. It's going to be Christmas, so I'll be busy, but I'll make sure I work in some time to get that done. I think we beat the Jets, preliminary. I think there's no reason we can't beat the Jets, and then if the Steelers are playing like this, there's no reason we can't beat them. The Bengals stalled out a little bit on some early stuff that I don't think the Browns are going to stall out in those situations. I think we put up a bigger lead there, so I don't know. I mean, watching that team, we can beat that team tonight. So we just got to hope in 2 weeks from now that's the team we're facing. We'll see what happens. It's exciting. We're 10-4. Guys, I think we might go to the playoffs. What the fuck? All right. I'll talk to you guys later this week. Have a good night, everybody. Be safe out there, and go Browns.